interesting person. Did you want to know more about her? Yeah, that's, for years, and I know many of you know Susan McClatchy. I'd been hearing about her great aunt for so long and thought, what a fabulous story. All of the stories and looking at the paintings and reading some of her letters. And so as Susan talked about the work involved in putting together the exhibit that you all saw downstairs, all these beautiful paintings, I thought, there should be more. This woman, we need to hear from this woman now. How can that be made a part of the traveling exhibit? And so, of course, I said, here's what you should do. Sort of business, telling other people what to do. I'm a long time book editor. I was with Random House for a long time, and frequently what we do is say, do this, and then somebody else gets it done. And so Susan, Judy Maxwell, who also worked on the exhibit with her, says, oh, what a great idea. Why don't you do it? So, as she said in the introduction, although I have written many, many books, this was my first screenplay. Anyway, so, again, I'm a writer, but, working on a book is so vastly different from trying to bring voice to something like this. Usually what I do is I have an idea for a book, I make a book proposal, I get a publisher interested in it, and they say yes, and then I go to work, and I get to write whatever I want and turn it in. And nobody is really sort of looking over my shoulder the whole time. But I really felt that this was a kind of a different project because it was a project in which there had to be a lot of emphasis on the truth, on fact. Even though I'm a nonfiction writer, that doesn't always enter in. Because I'm writing, for instance, I wrote a book called The Martini Diet. Not a lot of fact-based information. It was all, I was just having fun with the idea, I was using Julia Child as inspiration and kind of riffing off that. It's sort of the jazz approach to nonfiction writing. And so, although I thought that I could do something similar with this screenplay, with trying to give a voice to Anna Brewster Richards, I really did. I was conscious of the fact that not only was this a real person with a real record of achievement, but also that it would be a film which might ultimately be viewed by members of her family. And then also it was, that the woman, Judy Maxwell, who wrote this, also would feel that it needed to reflect her own scholarship. So although it seemed like this really fun project, to me, I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with some of those constraints. Also, although I have mostly done books, I have been involved once or twice in television productions, mostly for public television. But tight as the money is in public television, you can still use more than one camera, or maybe more than one actor or actress. There's a little bit more going on, but I was thinking that what we needed to produce here needed to be shown, in a more intimate setting. It's going to be like this. It wasn't going to be something that people would traditionally be viewing on the TV. Something that needed to be viewed in the context of a museum and a show. And it needed to be easy for us to produce, of course. It needed to be fairly simple set, fairly simple camera work, fairly simple acting job. And it also needed to be easy for the audience to digest. Short, something that people who are going through an exhibit could just stop and watch for a few minutes, maybe not even watch all the way through, but stop. That would just sort of add a little extra element to their own viewing experience as they would look at the paintings. So I thought, there are a couple of different ways you could do it. You could do sort of the Ken Burns approach. We all know that kind of, that very authoritative narrator voice that we hear, and then maybe there's like some cello music that plays, kind of a somber tone that's always being struck on those. Then there are just the static photos with the voiceover. So we could do that with static pictures and then cutting back and forth. But again, I thought, it just, I think that Anna herself was so interesting that I thought that the direct address really would work better, would people much more quickly than if you're wandering through a museum and you catch sight of some film that's playing and it's just static pictures. I thought if it was a woman, if somebody who was talking, you might stop and listen to what this person was actually saying. So I decided to also give her a very modern voice. One of my original ideas, actually, this was a couple of years ago, I was watching Antiques Roadshow. And all of a sudden on Antiques Roadshow, there they are talking about Richard Brewster. Suddenly, they're not talking about, an old hunting gun or some of the other stuff that people are always dragging out of their attics. Here somebody has this little painting, and one of those experts is saying, well, yes, it was M. Richard Brewster, who was a significant figure, and there it was. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if the sky was the limit? Imagine if there were a black box that was down there near where the paintings were. I also pictured that this would happen in sort of a live audience, a live performance. And so suddenly, this box comes on, and it's a television screen, and it's that little bit of Antiques Roadshow. And they're talking about Anna, and then it fades out. And then from around the box, here comes this actress, who then starts talking about, they were actually wrong when they said that I was 16 when I won this prize. I was really only 12, or whatever it is. I'm making that up. But I thought it would be really fun to literally start in a modern moment with Anna on TV. It's such an ordinary experience that we all have watching public television, and suddenly here is somebody talking about her life. I also thought what would be really effective would be to have, again, for a live performance, to have, an actress at an easel painting, and then a male actor, maybe at another easel, painting also, because a lot of Anna's, not only are there letters from Anna with all of her thoughts, but there's a lot from her father. Her father wrote a lot of letters in which she is featured, or else he's commenting on her career or her life. So I thought it'd be very interesting to have her, talk about one thing, and then maybe he could contradict or or underscore what she said and agree. And then I also thought what could work is that later in her life, because you need to sort of progress, your person needs to move through their life. Later on, when she's married, then maybe the same actor could somehow, change hats or somehow signify that this guy was now a college professor. So I have one actor play both the role of her father and her husband, just to get those male voices. Because I think that if it was a really long, if that was like a 20 or 30-minute piece, just having one woman talk, don't you think, would go on a little too long. One woman talking about her life, sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. But I think for purposes of this, for what we used it for, that did seem to be the best one. So I thought that a good way to start off would be, with some sort of attention grabber, a woman artist, wherever did that come from? Just to get people to pay attention and think, that's right, our visions of what the life of a woman artist was 100 or more years ago are pretty constrained. But yet this woman was all over the place. She really did have quite an interesting and free, remarkably free life. I also wanted to be able to connect with the viewer by using all of those modern language references. Homeschooling. I don't think she refers to it that way in her letters. I think it was a term that really truly was just invented. It was the way everybody got educated way back when. But yes, to say, oh, I was homeschooled, that's a term that you use so much. Also, I was very pleased, I must say, when I thought, why don't I have her talk about her mother, and how I understand there are these shows nowadays where you can talk about your mother, Again, that just seemed like such a fun, timely reference that would be so unexpected in a piece about an artist who lived so long ago. I thought that would be a real good attention grabber. And then, you look at somebody's entire life, from the time they're little until they pass away, and you